They are biting tonight. We got 5 in the well, 4 on deck.
Person, that one looks pregnant, man. Look how big that belly is.
That's definitely another 200-pounder.
That's a big beast.
September 24th through the 26th, we'll be on board the Apollo, and you are invited for this very special 2-day trip. It is limited to only 21 anglers, includes all meals, and should be fantastic. This is when we have our best weather months in the fall, and the Apollo, they've been on their game this year. Outstanding fishing and really nice weather. Then we're going to switch over to the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California for another 2-day adventure. October 6th through the 8th should be another great trip. Tanner, Cortez Bank, and anywhere else the fish are. Don't forget, text me at 657-227-6459 to get on board the Apollo and or the Amigo. Best weather months of the year, and hopefully lots of fish for you to catch. Hey, good Saturday morning, my dear friends, and welcome to absolutely gorgeous, pristine, and beautiful Surfside, California. Feels like it's about 80 degrees here, just past 7 a.m. It is beautiful. What a way to escape the heat, although it feels like it's going to be really hot here today. Also, I know that high inland air temperatures are killing so many of you, so if you get a chance, come down here and take a look at the beach, some Southern California beach, or any beach for that matter, wherever you find yourself this morning around the world. Get out on the water or take a walk along the beach, get off the couch, and renew your soul. Man, I mean that sincerely. And speaking about being sincere, wow, what fishing. That night bite last night was tremendous out there near Tanner Cortez Bank. Really wonderful fishing going on. And there's some big ones. As you saw in the lead, and the Constitution had fish over 200 pounds, but they were not alone. Several boats on that nighttime bite. We'll have details on that south of the border. A dream trip for the guys from Island Fishing Tackle. Went down to Cedros Island. Really good to see them having so much fun. Ensenada. We'll cover what's going on down there south of the border and the long-range scene. Sizzle, San Francisco, Albacore, San Clemente Island white sea bass, and so much more. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. For a sip of my hot coffee. Make that lukewarm, but it's still good, and it's great to be with you all also. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning, and hope you're going to get out because our weather is beautiful right now. No wind at all, not even out there on Tanner and Cortez. That's going to change. We'll have a weather statement here a little bit later in this morning's show about all of that. We'll continue to watch that for you very closely because the wind and the weather dictate a lot of what happens to you on your trip. But for today and tomorrow, it's going to be gorgeous, guaranteed, beautiful weather. Hit that like button, share these videos with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that little bell, and you'll be notified when there's new content. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So great to be with you all. Hey, don't forget, if you have tax problems, visit our friend Tim Marquez, who was just down there at Cedros Island having a great time. And for your heating and or air conditioning needs, air conditioning, I need it fixed right now, or I'm going to bake like a baked potato. You want to call our good friend John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, my friends, great to be with you all. Let's go down to Cedros Island and tell you that family Friedman Adventure member Ed, check out that white sea bass he had on the Island Fishing Tackle trip down to Cedros Island. Tim Marquez, our tax guy, with a nice halibut, calico bass, and full speed yellowtail action for the guys on this very special trip. Special because it was at Cedros Island, and special because of the group and island fishing tackle. Of course, Tackle Shop Confessions Monday night. We'll cover that great trip, get into how to travel to Cedros, how you can make your dreams come true down there. Superior yellowtail action. I mean, a lot of these guys on their pongas were limited out on yellowtail at 8, 9 in the morning. It's that close to where you depart from and that wide open that you can be throwing an iron and just having so much fun. But there are some other species, as indicated by Ed's great catch of that white sea bass and Tim's halibut. There's some other stuff you can do there. It's as good as it gets. Up to Ensenada we take you. And I got to tell you, the offshore bite is hit and miss. Some mornings they bite really, really good. Now, not the problem, but what's been happening with that bite is it's been a really early morning bite. So a lot of guys are starting to launch at dark and trying to get out to the grounds at daybreak. So important right now as it's been an early morning kind of a thing. One day they bite, one day they don't bite. Some fish on the popper, some fish on those dart jigs like a Sakana. That's been very, very effective. Trolled, Mad Max, still probably the best way to get a bite. But also throwing a Tatty 45 has resulted in some good bluefin tuna fishing. Most of that Ensenada fish is anywhere from 10 to 40 pounds. Every once in a while, one a little bit bigger. Inshore, great rock fishing. If you need to load up on the bottom fish and provide everybody down there while you're hanging out in Ensenada with some great fish tacos, you can definitely do that. But there's still the good barracuda bite. It's flurrying up down there around Santo Tomas. It's been really good. Some big bonita and also some really good calico and sand bass fishing closer to Ensenada. And those bird schools of yellowtail are still up and breezing around. Sometimes on the weekends it gets pushed down because of boat pressure. Yes, even Ensenada is susceptible to boat pressure. I shouldn't even say even Ensenada. I mean, they got a huge fleet of private boaters down there at the corral and elsewhere. So they get on that yellow and push it down. You see those birds, you run over there, you throw that Tatty 45, take a couple winds on it, and you can get a bite by doing just that. Yellows 10 to 8 to 20 pounds, mostly on those bird schools. Still some pretty good fishing. The fallback rockfish, you can always do that. And once again, hopefully that bluefin tuna settles in a little bit more. There's been offshore an occasional yellowfin tuna caught, which makes us think maybe we'll get a shot of that here in the fall. We're going to watch that for you very, very closely and see if that develops. But no big numbers of Dorado or yellowfin or just the warm water species that you might see push in there. Hey, if you're going out of Ventura sport fishing, Island Spirit, man, I tell you, fishing with Captain Daniel Hadaway, there is nothing like it. We love the Island Spirit, and they've got kids fish free for you on Sundays. That's tomorrow. 805-676-3474 or visit VenturaSportFishing.com. Time to take you out to Tanner Bank where there was some exceptional fishing going on. I mean, as good as you could possibly want it last night. You saw the Constitution on the lead-in, but there were so many boats that had such great night fishing on those really big fish. A lot of guys limiting out and a lot of big fish taking fish to over 200 pounds last night. How good was it? Well, the Highliner was leaving Port of San Diego last night, pointing their bow out there toward Tanner and Cortez. And I talked to Max on the way out. Max is a great captain on board the Highliner, and he said, we've got absolutely pristine and gorgeous weather. That's number one. And, you know, to be honest with you, Phil, we have a family rent rod charter, so I don't even know if we're going to get there in time to fish this bluefin tuna at night. Well, they got there at 3:30 in the morning, so a couple hours maybe to fish. They shut down and immediately started hanging these beautiful, big, gorgeous bluefin tuna. On board the Highliner, it was absolutely excellent fishing. That rent rod charter from 3:30 in the morning till 5:30, they caught 11 of those fish, 80 to 150 pounds. Max said he hooked 7 himself. Hook a fish, hand it, follow the person, coach them through the battle. What a dream come true for this family of novice anglers on board the Highliner. It doesn't get any better than that. Now, if you're headed out there, Max told me what they're biting on, but he told me I couldn't tell you or he'd kill me. No, he didn't. He said jigs that are 250 to 350 grams are working best of all. Daiwa SK jigs, super hot. Eddy bombs, super hot, really working well. Rip roller jigs, super hot. Those three are what Max recommended, and he said the smaller profile jigs in the 250 to 350 gram range were the ones that were getting bit. Excellent night bite last night. Right now in the daytime, I've talked to some boys out there, and they are picking away at the 10 to 40 pound bluefin tuna. Daytime fishing still very good out there. Sometimes it is a plunker bite. Most of the time, that's what it is. In fact, that's what it was so far for the boys that I've talked to. That means hot bait, long soak has been very effective lately. In other words, letting your bait sit out there for a while, maybe 5 minutes or so, and 25-pound fluorocarbon. Now, you obviously want to get bit on the heaviest line possible, but sometimes they don't want to bite that. So that's when you've got to get tough. You've got to be really good with your observational skills, watching everybody around you and see what they're getting bit on. Talk to your crew members, choose a good hot bait, long soak it, change the bait regularly, see what's working best, and that will work really, really well. But we've seen some outstanding fishing, and once again, it's hard to find boats without limits of bluefin tuna. And now this excellent night bite fishing has been spectacular. 2 spots left on our Apollo trip. You saw it on the lead-in. 2 spots left on our Amigo trip. Wow, those are going to be phenomenal trips. Best weather months are in the fall. Once we get out of all this wind, hopefully it's going to even get better, if that's even possible. Speaking of wind, it is supposed to manifest itself out there on Tanner and Cortez Bank Tuesday evening. Wednesday looks very, very breezy. Still far enough out there where it can be inaccurate. So we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. But it looks like Saturday and Sunday are going to be gorgeous. Monday is going to be okay. And then Tuesday afternoon, it may blow up. We have that in our weather sites for you all, and we'll continue to update you on that. But that weather forecast has not changed for a while in terms of that Tuesday, Wednesday kind of windy scenario. We're going to watch that for you very closely. There's still some big daytime fish being taken around San Clemente Island. Also, some of the private boaters out there and some of the guys who are focused on big game fish. I mean, big bluefin tuna are flying kites there and doing really well. And the blowouts on the baits have been amazing, phenomenal. It's really a special time, and you have to feel really, really blessed to be here in Southern California right now. Amigo, 15 guys, 30 bluefin tuna with limits. Freedom out of 22nd Street Landing, also on a day-and-a-half trip. 25 bluefin tuna. Pacific Queen, 3.5 day trip. 144 on the bluefin tuna. Ranger 85 with 148 bluefin tuna. Tremendous fishing going on right now. It can't get any better. And now you had that nighttime big fish, and now you know how to catch them. 200-pound leaders on those fish, please. They have teeth and they'll chew right through your line. Have some heavy fluoro for sure to guard against that. In terms of full day fishing offshore, still pretty darn tough offshore. The Grande is out right now with Scotty Buchard as a deckhand on board. Hopefully they'll find some fish because that offshore bite has been tough. And the San Diego a few days ago had 5 yellowfin tuna. We see a little bit of that around, but not enough. 1 bluefin tuna on the San Diego yesterday and 5 yellowtail. They also have been fishing the Coronado Islands at times where the bite is up and down on the yellowtail right now. Sometimes it's pretty darn good. Not seeing those huge numbers where we were catching up there around 100 yellows per boat with great consistency. That's a thing of the past for right now. But every once in a while we'll get a decent score on the fish, and we'll continue to watch out. If you're headed to Catalina Island, man, I'll tell you, what a gorgeous weekend to be doing that. I'm afraid, though, the El Patron is probably sold out for tomorrow. But the weekdays, you get a special price. You get to beat the heat. You catch a couple bonita and calico bass and maybe a yellowtail. And heck, you're in heaven. You're at Catalina. And again, with these really high air temperatures, I can't think of a better place to be than on the El Patron. www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Get on the El Patron. Let's talk about the island. No, let's talk about long range. Almost skipped over my friends on the long range situation, and it's been phenomenal, and it's still that way. Really great fishing on 40 to 80 pound yellowfin tuna. The vast majority of those fish are in that size range, which is a phenomenal grade of YFT for the ridge and surrounding areas down there around Alijos and that zone. It has been a spectacular year. For the last couple of months, It's been great fishing for all the long-range boats. So great fishing going on. The Polaris Supreme finishing up an 8-day trip where they had phenomenal action on those nice grade yellowfin tuna. Phenomenal action on the yellowtail. I mean, it is as good as it gets. Same thing over there on the Independence, Royal Polaris, and several other boats. The Independence went in and tried to catch a few yellows. They mostly traveled yesterday. I was talking to the boys on the Indy, and they said they mostly traveled. But today, this morning, right now, they think they're maybe on the precipice of a white sea bass fight. They're trying to make that happen. We'll see if they can come up with some big numbers. We have seen that with great regularity. It's been very impressive for those 7 and 8 day boys going into the Baja Coast on their way home and catching big calicos and sheephead and more yellowtail, but some really good sea bass fishing. Something tells me, a little birdie whispered in my ear and said the Independence is about to have a really good sea bass hit here this morning. We'll see how that works out. We'll be watching that very, very closely for you. All great fishing on the long range scene. And don't forget, April, we got a great trip on the Independence that you can become part of. 5 days on the Independence. I'll be there shooting video of your very special trip. Hopefully, you will be able to jump on board that one with us all. Let's go down and talk islands right now. We referenced the Coronado Islands. Decent fishing there at times. There's, all the other stuff besides yellowtail. There's a little bit of barracuda and calico bass and really excellent rock fishing going on. Mission Bell yesterday, 28 guys, had 34 yellowtail and a smattering of that other stuff. There's some bluefin tuna not far from there, just south of South Island. Man, there's some good schools of bluefin tuna. If they'd only settle and bite a little bit better, that thing could really get rocking also. But decent fishing at the Coronado Islands. Out there at San Clemente Island, if you can get on a squid nest, you're in for the possibility of some sea bass and some yellowtail. And the Fury out of Dana War Sport Fishing certainly illustrated that yesterday with a nice hit on the WSB 31 guys. Had one yellowtail, but 27 white sea bass. We've seen these occasional hits on the sea bass at San Clemente Island. Can you imagine how good this fishing really is? You've got Clemente, and then just back behind it, Tanner and Cortez, and around Clemente, you've got that bluefin on the banks and nearby, and then you've got an opportunity for some fly line sardine, yellowtail at San Clemente Island. You've got a chance to get those dropper loop sea bass at night when you're on a squid nest, or even a hit or two on the nicer grade yellowtail at night fishing a dropper loop. It's absolutely phenomenal. I know I'm overusing the word, but we are truly blessed here with some outstanding fishing and wonderful outdoor opportunities. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. Nice hit there on the Fury at Catalina Island. We continue to see some decent fishing on calico bass, occasional yellowtail, and then a smattering of fish like whitefish and sheephead and that kind of stuff. Not wide open by any stretch of the imagination, and sometimes it's a little tough. If it gets a little windy, it makes things more difficult for sure. If you drop that fluorocarbon down to 15, even 12, you'll catch way more calico bass. Combine that with choosing a good hot bait, and you're in the ballpark. So really decent conditions over there, just scratching at the fish. Sometimes you can do really well on the calicos, especially if you heed my advice about dropping that mono down, drop that fluoro down. Makes a difference, I feel like, especially when you're fishing near the kelp. You want to cut through that stuff. And also choose a good hot bait. Change that bait regularly and you should do fine. You can definitely pull a limit of calico bass by doing just that. All right, let's take you up to Santa Barbara Island. I mentioned there's been some big yellows there. The pescador, Tom Durr, out of Redondo Sport Fishing's been out there. And there's some nice big whitefish, sheephead, that kind of thing. San Nicolas Island, great rock fishing. They're up in the Channel Islands. That zone has been good for the rockfish. Occasional white sea bass. They had 3 white sea bass on the Aloha Spirit. Making squid is really important to your white sea bass catch up there. And making squid's been a little bit more difficult here recently. But it's about time for Tucker McCombs on the Endeavor. Probably did it yesterday and kept it a secret. We'll find out, but it's about time for him to come up with another big hit of white sea bass. He's been red hot in terms of what boat has been catching more sea bass, and it's got to be Tucker on the Endeavor. The Island Spirit on the local scene out right now. And man, I tell you, they've been putting the wood to the rockfish and providing everybody with such great customer service. Out of Ventura Sport Fishing, the Island Spirit is such a great rig, and they've been doing really, really good. Other boats have been finding some okay calico bass fishing when they focus on that, with a little bit of barracuda around, and then, you know, rockfish mostly in that neck of the woods. It's been good up there. Burgess and Morro Bay, excellent rock fishing. Avila Beach, same kind of a situation. Really, really good. And San Francisco albacore continue to entertain. Mostly, it looks like to me, 8 to 15 pound fish. Some albacore up to 20 pounds, but some pretty darn good fishing up there out of San Francisco. As they're having a really great season. They've had wonderful halibut fishing all year long, and earlier in the year the stripers were full speed, and now they're catching copious amounts of lingcod, and they're getting in on this hit on the albacore. What is wrong with that? Curtis DeCarrion, private boater, said he went 55 miles from the gate up there and ended up with 12 albacore. Nice hit there, Curtis, way to go. And new Easy Rider Sport Fishing, 8 guys with 20 albacore. We've seen many other landings up there producing some really good albie fishing. What, I ask you, is wrong with that? Down there in San Diego, let's go local now and walk you up the coast on the 1/2 and 3/4 day. Really great action in San Diego. What a year it has been for local fishing in San Diego. The Premier, the new C4, the Dolphin, several other guys that have been fishing the local area with really good bass fishing. Sometimes they're short, but it gives you plenty of action. We've seen the occasional yellowtail and white sea bass. That's been really, really fun. There's been some great sand bass fishing, and throw in a good bonito bite now. And man, I'll tell you, it's really great fishing. May not be wide open, but it's pretty darn good. The dolphin, calico bass, limits of calico bass yesterday morning. How can you beat that? The Premier with good calico bass fishing and bonito down there also. Really good stuff. Moving you up to Oceanside. Not bad at all, as we're picking at a lot of bass there. A lot of shorts. Same thing up there around Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. A few more fish starting to bite, like a little bit of bonito in there and some whitefish, but calico bass, a lot of shorts. But the Western Pride out of Davies Locker in Newport Beach fishing half day. And what can I say? In the afternoon, 16 guys, limits of calico bass. And we've been thinking out loud for a while now. Everything is late. Are we actually going to get our bass bite in September? I wonder if this is a harbinger of things to come, or it's just a flash in the pan. Nice hit there on the Western Pride. We love it here in the San Pedro, Long Beach areas, up there into the Santa Monica Bay. Still mostly rockfish, whitefish, sculpin. There's been some decent bass fishing. For sure, private boaters can do well fishing tiny rocks and catching big sand bass and calico bass. Sport boats are relegated mostly to that bottom stuff right now. It seems weird, you know, I mean, it's September, you should be seeing some really good bass fishing, so maybe it will be late. We'll watch it very closely up there in the Santa Monica Bay. There's been some good twilight bass fishing, as you well know, Marcus Fain. He's a great angler and a dear friend of the Friedman Adventures family. He's been doing quite well on the twilights out of there. He loves fishing that stuff. And also, as we mentioned, up there in the Channel Islands, you kind of know what's going on. It's been a lot of rockfish up there in that neck of the woods. Hey, if you have a voiceover project, I'm your man. Send me a text anytime. And whether you need a voiceover for your business or you just want to pull a gag on somebody, I'm your man. Send me a text at 657-227-6459. Thank you to everybody who's responding to this. I'm having a lot of fun doing the VOs for all of you. All right. Let's talk surf fishing, as I see quite a few surf fishermen here. And man, whether you catch anything or not, I mean, look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. Big fish, bait and tackle down there on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They've got all the bait you need for a successful outing, and they've got tackle for trout fishing right on up to marlin and giant bluefin tuna. They've got it all. And they're also giving away a free custom fishing rod, a surf fishing rod, every single month. All you got to do is walk in there, buy their ruler, and then they'll give you all the rules. This month, it's for the largest halibut. Man, I know a whole bunch of people. Mitchell, come on, man. This has got your name written all over it. You got to be able to do it. Halibut Man is what he goes by, so I'm banking on Halibut Man coming up with a good catch there at the Big Fish Bait and Tackle. A little bit of yellowfin croaker here. I'm watching a guy right now to see if he comes up with anything. If he does, I'll turn the camera on him. Looks like he is fishing perhaps some kind of a lure. I didn't see him make a cast, But a little bit of yellowfin croaker, bar perch kind of out of the picture right now. Water's up to 70 degrees on the coast. They like the cooler water. Pretty good corbina fishing, but not as good as I would think it would be. More down there toward Bolsa Chica and Huntington Beach and the Santa Monica Bay. And there's the occasional halibut here in the surf. Also, more guys that are fishing. I'm jealous. I'm standing here talking about fishing, and they're going fishing. I love it. So a lot of great guys down here experiencing this beautiful ocean of ours. Surf fishing is such a thrill, so much fun to do, and I hope you get a chance to do it really, really soon. All right, my friends, there you have it. What can I tell you? What a night by last night. Great weather ahead. Fish are all right, ready biting out there on Tanner and Cortez. The Fury with a great hit. San Francisco Albacore, Cedros Island. Man, I'll tell you, here I go again. We are blessed. No question about it. Take care. Have a beautiful weekend, and I hope to see you really, really soon.